What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're checking out the 2022 Hyundai Kona N-Line. Now, if you've been with us for a while, you know we already did a full review on the Hyundai Kona EV model. So this time we're checking out the N-Line, which is not to be confused with the full-on N variant. So what we got here is a small SUV or crossover, whatever you want to call it, that's been done in a beautiful blue. It's called Wave Blue. So I want to talk to you about the details of this car, how it performs, how it handles, and get your thoughts overall on it as we do this driving review. So starting with the front, you're getting an N-Line front fascia, and then all LED daytime running lamps and headlamps as well, which is what you would expect, right? There are a bunch of fake grills up front. I'm not really going to take any points off because that kind of adds to the styling, and this is a vehicle that doesn't really justify having open air vents everywhere, even though it's been incorporated in the design. Underneath the hood, you have a 1.6 liter twin turbo 4-cylinder power plant that produces 195 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. So you're not getting a lot of power there. It's connected to a dual clutch transmission, and your 0 to 60 time is about 7.5 seconds. So for this to be an N-Line model, I'm kind of questioning, is this a vehicle that gives you all show and no go? You know, all the N-Line front fascias, the 3 slits on top of the grille, because the performance doesn't really seem to be there, in my honest opinion. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Coming to the side profile, you'll get the traditional proportions of the Kona models, right? This one does feature the 18-inch N-Line wheels, which look nice. Your brake rotors are 12 inches up front and about 11.2 inches in the rear, right? This is a small SUV, so it's not a huge wheelbase on this one as one would expect. Checking out the rear, you have small proportions in the back, LED tail lamps, and again, fake vents and a blacked out dual tipped exhaust on the right side of the vehicle. So I want to talk to you guys about how this vehicle handles. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little bit disappointed in the handling of this vehicle. And I think where this vehicle fails is the dual clutch transmission. For some reason, it feels like this vehicle is always searching for the right gear to be in. Even in normal driving, when you accelerate, the dual clutch will just give you whiplash. It feels like somebody's kicking you in the back as it struggles to find the right gear. And that makes for a really uncomfortable ride. I just have to be honest in this review. To top it off, the dual clutch transmission doesn't really perform like a dual clutch transmission we're used to. The gear changes are unbelievably slow in this vehicle for it having a DCT. I was a little shocked about that. So I'm not sure if it's the mapping that's been done for this vehicle, because I'm pretty sure I've driven other Hyundai models that might have had this transmission before and didn't have any problems. So I'm not sure if it's the mapping that's been incorporated for this transmission in this specific application or what. But whatever it is something that definitely needs to be fixed from Hyundai's perspective before anybody could truly recommend this car. I mean, you're talking about a car that's nearly 30 grand, right? And the transmission feels like it's kicking you in the back. So I'm not sure about that. Now, as far as it being an N-Line model, I think if Hyundai really wants people to take the N-Line name and the N brand seriously, you know, you have to have some performance backing that. This has the same power output as the Kona Limited model. So from my perspective, it just seems like what makes this as an N-Line model are the addition of some badges, some rear and front fascia. See, the transmission just kicked me there. I'm gonna go all out here. I mean, it struggles to do 0 to 60 in a decent time. So from my perspective, what makes this an N-Line model are just the badges. You know, the badges on the front grille, the N-Line wheels, and then the N-Line accents, which is a little bit disappointing from the driver's perspective. So, you know, you don't want to hop into this vehicle thinking you're getting a full-on performance mini SUV. You know, I'd be lying to you if I told you that's what this was. Now, Overall, coming to the interior, it's done in black, right, which is a nice contrast to the exterior color. But the entire interior is done in hard plastic, right? And again, this car is nearly 30 grand, so you're getting hard plastic for the dash, hard plastic for the door panels, hard plastic for the armrest. It's just hard plastic everywhere. So I'm a little disappointed at the use of materials. I feel like for the money, they could have done a little bit better. Hyundai's putting out some excellent cars today, and I think this one is just not one of those cars. They're putting out some remarkable cars in the market today. I just feel like this particular Kona N-Line falls short of what the rest of the brand is doing. Right now, as far as tech is concerned, you are getting what you expect. You have a nice large touchscreen display here, which is nice and responsive, crisp, reacts fairly well. You do have to hook up a smartphone to it through a USB cable to get your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's not wireless in this application, so I will say that. Behind the steering wheel, you do have a thin film transistor display, nice and bright, easy to read. As you can see, as I switch drive modes here, it will change how the information is displayed. So I'll switch it into sport, it goes to red, a more aggressive look, or I could switch it into smart, it does its little thing and switches that way as well. The steering wheel is the only thing that's done in leather in this car. It does have red stitching on the interior portions, and of course physical buttons for your lane assist and your rear cross traffic alert. So all that stuff is there. A lot of the safety tech is in this vehicle, right? I will note that you do have physical knobs for your volume control and your adjustment for the radio stations there. I like how they are keeping the physical buttons and knobs, and not everything is heavily dependent on a touchscreen. So I got to give points there where credit is due. Underneath the infotainment system, I do have 2 air conditioning vents and then physical controls for my air conditioning system as well. All right, I'm gonna floor it here. Transmission kicked me. We're not at 60 yet, just hit 60, right? So it struggles to perform. So I really don't think that the N-Line trim really adds anything to the Kona lineup, in my honest opinion. Now, I know a few of you guys might disagree, but I like to try and give reviews as honestly as I can. So it just struggles with that performance there. Coming further down, you do have USB ports, wireless charging here, a nice gear selector done in the N-Line trim with red accents. I would have liked to see the red incorporated a little bit more in the interior, aside from the air conditioning vents and this gear selector and maybe on the seats a little bit. Everything else seems to be black. Transmission just kicked me again. I don't know what it is with that. And I've tried it in every driving mode, whether it's comfort, smart, or sport. Just during casual driving, that transmission will just snap at you. The transmission is really the downfall of this vehicle, in my honest opinion. See, I know you guys heard that one. I know you guys heard that one. So behind the gear selector, I do have 2 cup holders, and then your electronic parking button as well, and then storage in the center console as well. Now, I will say this material here is a bit softer than all the other materials in the vehicle, so I'll give credit to that. You do have the N-Line Sport seats, which are heated. I'm using that heated option now. It's a little chilly here in Georgia this morning, which is crazy being that it was just 80 degrees yesterday. But that's the subject for another video. I will say you do have a nice sunroof here, so that does bring in light to this dark interior. The seating, it's comfortable, but the seats feel a little bit small, like they don't support my legs enough. That's just my honest opinion, and I'm about 5'11", so guys, take from that what you will. Door panels, again, done fully in plastic. I do like the black accents for the door handles. That looks nice, almost like a gunmetal vibe there. And then you do have just a little bit of storage on the bottom of the door, enough for a bottle of water, but nothing larger than that. So not a lot of storage there on the bottom panels of the doors. Going back to the second row, not a lot of legroom. You would expect to have that in an SUV of this size, so I can't take off points for that. As far as storage is concerned, With the second row folded down, you're looking at about 45 cubic feet of storage, and with the second row folded up, you reduce to 19 cubic feet of storage. So we talked about the power, which is 195 horsepower coming from that 1.6 liter four-cylinder turbo. The fuel economy that you're getting from that is about 29 city and 35 miles per gallon highway. So the fuel economy is really good in this vehicle. I've had it for about a week now, and I've driven it everywhere, and we're just at just under half a tank. So the fuel economy in this day and age, that's becoming more important, is really good. So overall, that's my thoughts on this vehicle. I am a little bit disappointed in the performance because we have that N-Line badge on there. That N-Line badge really has to mean something when you slap a badge on a car. And for a 0 to 60 of about 7.5 seconds, I just feel like this is a vehicle that's not worthy of it. But my biggest gripe is the transmission in this vehicle. And for that reason, I honestly would not recommend purchasing this vehicle till that transmission mapping is sorted out, because it really kicks you hard during just casual driving. I even had Isha in here a couple times, and she got so irritated with this car. You see she's not in this review, right? So that transmission mapping, I'm sure that's something that could be easily sorted out. I'm not sure what the issue is there, but that takes away from the effort that went into manufacturing this vehicle. It really takes away from it. So overall, you guys let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Is this a car that you would consider? Remember, there's several other models in the Kona lineup. Like I said, the Kona EV, I was way more impressed with that vehicle than I am with this one. But for $30,000 for the Kona N-Line, I'm just not seeing a justification for that. So that's my thoughts. Not the most positive review, I know, but I'm just trying to be honest as I review these vehicles. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out some of the other videos I've done. That will definitely help us out with the algorithm. Also, follow me on TikTok. I post little short clips there now as well. And until next time, I'm Ben Wayne, the automotive reviewer that YouTube deserves.